I want to come to you all today and I want to pose a question. My question is, have you ever heard of the saying, what's your why? See, back from a few mentors of mine, they used to say, if your why don't make you cry, then it's not strong enough. If your why don't make you cry, it's not strong enough. Antonio Wilbur was one of the first people to share that with me. And I want to ask you guys that. What's your why and what's driving you? And better yet, here's the question that I really want to ask, that I really want you to write this down. Who's your who? Who's your driving factor? Who do you do this for? Who do you do life for? Who is it that challenges you to get up and be the greatest version of you every day? Who is it that pushes you to go beyond your limits? Who is your who? It could be your family, it could be your spouse, it could be your mom, it could be your dad, but I want you to relish on that. Who is your who? Who's driving you? Who's depending on you? Who's counting on you? Who's relying on you? See, when you can put your why with your who, it should keep you hungry. It should keep you starving. It should keep you on the edge of greatness. It should keep you on the edge of anxiety a little bit. It should keep you on the edge of personal development. See, you got to develop yourself for those who you say you do it for. So they're going to be looking for you. They're going to be looking for leadership in times of uncertainty. They're going to be looking for leadership in times of panic. They're going to be looking for leadership in a time of confusion. Can your who's depend on you? Who's your driving factor? Who is the people that gives you the reason to never think about giving up? Is it your spouse? Is it your children? Or that you can tell your mom, you can retire now. You can retire your father so that he can go achieve some things that he's aspiring, since he was been a youngin' and he had to make sacrifices to make sure he took care of you. Think about funding your spouse's dream and putting them in position to make their dreams come true. Whenever times get low, whenever the chips are stacked against you, whenever you feel like you have no more to give, I want you to ask, who do I do this for? Who's counting on me? Who's counting on me to not give up? Who's counting on me to figure it out? Who's counting on me to think about problems to solve? Who's counting on me to think about ways to strategize to get me to the next level? Who's your who? I'll give you an example on why it's so important to remember who's your who and know who's your who and what's your why. I'll give you an example of the athlete. The athlete that gives his entire life to a sport, whether it's football, basketball, volleyball, soccer, tennis, golf, whatever. You give your entire life to this sport as an adolescent up until your years to be able to go pro. And you were so hungry. It was some things that you were after that drove you, that made you stay after school, that made you ask your parents to invest this amount of money into summer leagues and summer camps. And you were driving and you were hungry and you were starving and you see your mom going through stress and this heart. Your father was missing in your life. So these who's drove you to the level of performance that you did on a daily basis to get to this level. But understand, if you forget your who, if you lose your hunger, you may lose your drive. That same athlete that gave everything, that ate, that slept, that dreamed of the sport, that gave everything that they ever could give to the game of what they believed in was going to help them take care of their who. And then when you get to the pinnacle of the heights, we've all seen the athlete before their first years, they're driving, they're on fame, they're on high, and then they start getting complacent. They don't give as much in the summertime as they used to give. The money, the fame, the accomplishments to lift the burdens of who they do it for has lessened their drive, has lessened their obsessity with becoming the greatest version and doing what I set out to do for those who I set out to do it for. Because those who's and those whys are still dependent and counting on you. They're still looking for, okay, how do I handle the situation when I get to the pinnacle of what I'm looking for? Do I just go in relax mode? Do I stop being hungry? Do I stop driving myself for greatness? Do I stop setting new goals? Who do you do it for? Ask yourself, who's your who? Ask yourself, who's your who? Matter of fact, I want you to take your notebook out right now. I want you to write it down. Who's your who? Who are you going to think about when you feel like giving up? Who are you going to think about when the challenge is very, very high? Who are you going to think about when it's time of uncertainty? Who are you going to think about to keep your driving factor at an ultimate level where you push past the doubt, you push past the fear, you push past the insufficient funds, you push past the insufficiency of knowledge, you push past the insufficiency of resources, you push past the insufficiency of network, because you got those who's on your mind. See, I'll give you an example. You got to put them on your screensaver. So every moment that you look up, you have a purpose, you have a reason, you have a driving, determining factor. You got to put it on your wall to every time you wake up, you can see it when you're brushing your teeth. Those who's, those whys. You need to put it in your car so every time you check your gas engine light, you also check your who's and why you do what you do. So you got to keep reminding yourself of who it is that's depending and counting on you so that you never give up, so that you never lack the energy, the effort, the mindset it takes to finish, to never quit. Who's your who? And once you find out who's your who and you write it down and you find out what's your why and what's your purpose and why you're here on this planet Earth and what you're here to change, what are you here to evolve? Are you the black sheep of your family? Are you the one that everybody's counting on to make it, figure it out, and then come back and show them so you can take them further? Once you figure that out, once you learn those who's and you learn those whys, watch how it turns up your drive. Watch how it turns up your energy. Watch how it turns up your persistence. If you truly love them, if you truly care for them. See, when you find out who, farther you can go. Find your who's. Who are you dedicating life to? Who are you dedicating your drive to? It's 86,400 seconds in a day. Who are you maximizing that time for? And I'll share with you this. If you keep that hunger, you keep that starvation, you keep that who and that why at the forefront of your mind, the driving force towards your goals will attract at a more efficient rate. Know your who, live out your why.